In a small village surrounded by silent mountains, the day began, even before the sun rose. While everyone was still asleep, a single window was already lit. The window of Mr. Joaquin's bakery. Joaquin was an old baker with hands marked by time and work, who had been waking up in the dark for years to prepare the bread. For each morning, the smell of fresh dough, yeast, and a hot oven filled the street, but Joaquin's heart no longer filled in the same way. He looked at the shelves full of fresh, delicious bread, and almost no customers, and thought to himself in silence,
I work so hard, and still, it never seems to be enough.
That day, like so many others, Joaquin opened the bakery door and waited. He waited with his wrinkled apron and tired eyes for someone to come in, smile, and ask for a loaf of bread. But the hours passed slowly, and few people showed up. When the sun was already high, Joaquin counted the coins. In the register, he shook his head, took a deep breath, and murmured,
Maybe I should just stop, retire. No one seems to need my bread anymore.
It was then, almost at the end of the afternoon, that a boy appeared at the bakery door. His clothes were worn out, his feet were bare, and his eyes were fixed on the bread shelves, as if he were standing before a banquet. For a few moments, the boy just stared, pressing his empty stomach with hunger. Gathering his courage, he walked up to the counter.
Sir, do you have any old bread? One that no one is going to buy? I'm hungry.
Joaquin felt something twist inside him, a mix of pity and impatience. He looked at the boy and thought about the bills he had to pay, about the few coins in the register.
Here, my boy, nothing is free. If you can't pay, you can't take it.
The boy's eyes filled with shame. He lowered his head, apologized in a low voice, and walked out slowly, just as he had come in. But this time, the one left with an aching heart was Joaquin. That night, Joaquin lay down, but sleep would not come. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the boy's face, thin, hungry, standing at the bakery door. The words he had spoken echoed in his head as if they had come from a stranger. Nothing is free here. If you can't pay, you can't take it. He turned in bed, sighed, turned again. Sleep would not come, and he realized that something was wrong. Not with the boy, but with himself. That day, before the sun came up, Joaquin got out of bed, turned on the bakery lights, and in silence, lit the oven earlier than usual. At that dawn, Joaquin prepared a different loaf of bread. It wasn't the biggest or the prettiest, but it was made with special care, with intention, as if every fold of dough carried a silent request for forgiveness. When the bread was ready, still warm, he wrapped it in a simple cloth and went out into the street. The morning wind was cold, and the village was still slowly waking up. As he crossed the street, on the sidewalk in front of an old house, he saw the boy curled up, sleeping outside. A thin, worn blanket was all that separated his frail body from the freezing dawn wind. Joaquin walked up slowly, so as not to scare him, and placed the bread beside him. He stood there for a few seconds, watching, without saying a word. There were no words. Then he went back to the bakery, his heart beating in a different way. A short time later, through the bakery's fogged-up window, Joaquin saw the boy waking up. The boy opened his eyes, smelled the bread, and for a moment, thought it might be a dream. When he realized it was real, he held the bread as if holding a treasure, and he smiled. A simple smile, but so sincere that it cut through the cold morning air and went straight to the baker's heart. In that moment, Joaquin felt something he hadn't felt in a very long time. A small flame of joy lit right in the middle of his chest. The next day, Joaquin woke up with a different idea. As he kneaded the dough, he thought of the people in the village he saw walking by in a hurry, worried, often hungry. He understood that if the oven was lit, it could be more than just a business. It could be a service, a gesture, a gift. So he did something he had never done before. Early in the morning, he set aside some loaves that would not be sold. Those loaves had a different destination. Throughout the day, between one customer and another, Joaquin slipped quietly through the village. He left a loaf at the door of an old lady who lived alone, another on the windowsill of a family with many children, another hidden in a cloth bag near a bench where an old man usually sat. He didn't leave notes or signatures. The only sign was the smell of fresh bread and a feeling of care. Unseen, but real. As days went by, something curious began to happen. People who found an unexpected loaf at their door felt seen, remembered, cared for. Some of them discovered that the bread came from Joaquin's bakery and started going there, first to say thank you and later to buy, whenever they could. Others, touched by his gesture, decided they also wanted to help however they could. A neighbor began cooking a little extra to share with those who had less. A farmer started setting aside part of his harvest to donate. What began with a single loaf of bread spread through the village like the scent of dough baking in the oven. One day, while Joaquin was arranging the shelves, a shopkeeper from the street above walked into the bakery with a stern look on his face.
Joaquin, I've been hearing that you've been giving bread, Hawaii, for free.
Sometimes, yes, when I see someone in need.
Are you out of your mind? You're gonna go broke like that. Business is business. If you keep this up, you'll end up with nothing.
Joaquin listened in silence for a few seconds. Then he took a deep breath and answered calmly.
Maybe I'll lose a few coins, that's true. But you know, since I started sharing, I've noticed I never lack what I really need. And more than that, I've realized that the more I give, the fuller my heart feels. If that's what it means to be poor, then I guess I'm becoming rich in the right way.
The shopkeeper shook his head, unable to understand. But as he walked out, he saw the bakery full of people, and an atmosphere that no amount of money could buy. Sometime later, on a clear morning, Joaquin had his back turned, arranging the shelves, and didn't see the young man come in. When he turned around, he saw a familiar face, yet different. It was the boy. Now he looked a little stronger, with cleaner clothes, and a more confident gaze.
Mr. Joaquin, I came to say thank you. That day I was so hungry, I didn't even have the strength to ask again. But you left a loaf of bread by my side. That bread didn't just feed my body, it gave me hope.
Joaquin felt his eyes fill with tears and say,
Sit down, my boy. Today, you don't need to ask for bread. If you'd like, you can even help me make it.
And so, the boy began going to the bakery every day. He learned how to knead the dough, light the oven, and wait for the right time. Along with the bread, he was learning something more. That what we receive with gratitude, we can one day offer with generosity. With time, the scene repeated itself every morning. Joaquin and the boy, now his helper, worked side by side. The village woke up to the smell of warm bread and the sound of light conversations in the bakery. The shelves were no longer empty, and the register, though simple, always had enough. But what filled that place the most was not the bread or the money. It was the stories, the smiles, the feeling that no one there was completely alone. One day, someone noticed a phrase written by hand on the bakery wall in a small wooden frame. It read, "Gratitude multiplies what we have. Sharing gives life its flavor." Below the phrase, there was a simple drawing of a loaf of bread, broken in half, with both halves equal. Joaquin no longer complained about having little, because he had discovered that little, in the right hands, can become much. He understood that true wealth is not about accumulating as much as possible, but about recognizing that we have enough for ourselves and a little more to share with someone else. The boy, who once begged for bread, now helped bake the loaves that would be given to others, and so the wheel kept turning. Someone received, someone shared, someone learned to be grateful. The story of Joaquin and the boy is not just about bread. It is about understanding that, many times, what we lack is not money, but the willingness to truly see another person. When we choose to be grateful for the little we have and still share it, something inside us changes. Fear gives way to trust. Scarcity gives way to generosity. And what once seemed too little, mysteriously, becomes enough. Maybe you don't have a bakery or a hot oven, but every day you have something to offer. A bit of your time, a word of support, a smile, a plate of food, a quiet act of help. Because in the end, true abundance is not about having a lot, but about knowing that, with what you already have today, it is possible to make a difference in someone else's life, including your own. Share this video with someone special to you, and together, let's share what we have and make our world a better place.